Services company in South Springfield, and 20 years is our anniversary next year. The company has evolved into what it is today, which was a vision of having a one-stop shop.
You hire the best of the best.
Yes, we do. Everybody here to me is family.
Our guiding principles are:
be kind,
speak honestly,
make it simple,
act fairly,
put people over profits. Simple solutions.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to 2022. Not 2022, but 2022.
2022.
Right.
Yeah, I got to get used to saying that. And tip, be sure and think before you write a check and date it. Of course, you don't write checks. So.
I try not to.
Yeah.
But as much as I can, I try to just not.
That lets you know you're getting old when you really pride yourself in dating your checks correctly.
I was actually was preaching yesterday. I did the sermon at Fellowship Bible Church yesterday, and one of the things I said was back in the 1900s, and everybody kind of laughed. But no, I mean, so, it's when I got born, when I started going to church, when I came to get saved, become a Christian. I was like back in the 1900s, and
that was a long time. That was a century ago.
Yeah, a long time ago.
Yeah.
But you think if it was 1921 and people are talking about back in the 1800s, yeah, that's right. And it seemed like a long time ago, but it's 51 years since 1970, which means from 1970 was 50 years before 1970 was 1919. So we're as far away from 1970 as 1970 was from 1920.
Wow.
Yeah.
I hadn't really thought about that.
70s are 50 years ago, Bruce.
Wow.
Sounds like we're getting ready to retire.
Not anytime soon. I love what I do.
I do too.
Somebody asked me the other day,
we're having a lot of fun.
When you're going to retire? And I said, gosh, I've been retired for 20 years.
I know, yeah.
That's
right.
When I started my own company and, Lord willing, we'd get up every day and go to work and try to make a difference in somebody's life. Yeah. That's kind of the motto of our company. And, I can see a reflection of that mentality on my people. Mm-hmm. Because they love what they do, they can't wait to get to work. And how many people can say that about their job?
Yeah, that's
not
pretty
very
rare.
many.
Yep.
And so we really do enjoy what we do. I love doing these workshops. I love doing estate planning. I love helping people figure out problems.
Well, working to make money is kind of a drudge. It's really not a lot of fun. I mean, it's fun when you're making money, but it's not fun when you're not. Right. But if you go to work and your purpose is to help somebody, you can help somebody every day. And therefore, whether you make money or not, every day is successful because you were able to make a difference and help somebody out.
That's right. Money doesn't motivate a lot of people.
Right. And so your firm at the Resource Center and my firm, Worsham Law Firm, that's our goal. We want to help people.
Yep.
And that tends to make us money when we do that.
Well, it does, and that's good because, making an honest living is biblical, and, let's go all the way back.
Yeah.
So, we're supposed to get up and go to work every
that's
day
right.
and earn and take care of our families and things like that. The key to the whole thing, though, is trying to be a good steward and trying to be smart about it and trying to make sure that you can do what you want, whether it's legacy planning or taking care and paying your bills or whatever, and we're here to help, that's for sure.
Sure are. What do you got for us today, Bruce?
Well, we're going to talk about retirement unknowns.
Okay.
Going into 22, I think it's important that, for those of us that have been waiting for this magical year to come, 22, and now you're ready to retire, I think we got to think about a few things, and I think we're going to dive into that today because the unknowns of retirement are they can be, when you think through it, retirement is an emotional time, and it can be very daunting. It can be very troubling to some. It can be smooth to others. If you've done planning and you've come to our workshops and met with us, you're going to retire with a smile.
I think so.
So, I think we dive into that today.
Okay.
That's what I think we do.
Well, you want to see some graphics for you here?
Yeah, let's pull that up. There we go, retirement unknowns. So, these are 5 topics we're going to kind of dive into: investment risk, inflation, healthcare cost, longevity, mortality risk, and public policy risk. And so each one of those, and we're not going to get into every aspect of investment risk because, investment risk is different for for a lot of people. When you're younger, you can afford the risk. You need to go see John Pope, and you need to do some investing, and you need to get started with a plan. If you don't like John, come see me. But John's a good guy to go see because he's knowledgeable and he knows what he's doing when it comes to investment. Now, when you get to retirement, you need to take a look at what's the objective. What are you trying to accomplish? Now, when you get to retirement, market rate of return and market risk becomes a real thing. Because you can't afford to start all over. You can't afford to replenish losses or wait on taking income until the market comes back up. You get in kind of between a rock and a hard place, and so that can create an emotional stress when you're retired if you have too much risk. It's not an all or none situation. You basically just have to have a good allocation of asset mix. When you think through that, that makes sense. Having the diversification in your portfolio that's necessary to give you peace of mind. When the markets are up, everybody's happy. When the markets are down, everybody's sad. Well, when the markets are down, if you already got a game plan for pulling income resources out of other more conservative assets, and you've got your market assets for longer term growth and offsets and things like that, then it works out. Asset allocation that is diversified and well balanced can be a big advantage. A lot of people have an all or none type mentality. I either have it all in CDs or I have it all in something.com market, right?
NFTs and crypto.
Yeah,
Sure.
Yeah. So let's go crypto all the way, or let's go to a bank CD at 0.1.
So a good balance is what we're really looking
Right,
for
good
here.
balance. Interest rates are important because we have this inverse relationship now with the government. They think we're all ignorant. So when the market has no foundation under it whatsoever, somebody says, hey, Will, I tell you what let's do. Let's drop interest rates to zero. Then everybody will go buy stuff. So now what we see are people that are buying stuff they don't need with money they don't have. And so it's stimulating economic growth. There is no other reason. And if you can figure this out and explain it to me, I'd love to know. Why is the U.S. stock market going up the last couple of years when the entire world is in chaos?
Yeah.
Right?
'Cause it's the only where to put money.
It's the only where to put money, and interest rates are zero, and everybody's going out and they're buying stuff they don't need with stimulus money that got handed to them, and they think that's okay.
Yeah.
They don't think 2 generations down the road, who's going to pay it back?
Right.
Had this government done what it's done now, when my grandfather was alive, I would be paying the price for that ignorance back then that happened. So we won't get off on that, right?
Too late.
All right. So sequence of returns, that's an important thing, because sequence of returns is the effect that a fluctuating rate of return has on your stability of income. Now, when you think about that, when the markets are up and everything is fine, everybody's drawing income, and that's great. When the markets are down, what happens is you have a hesitancy to continue to draw the same income. So that affects your standard of living. So again, back to retirees, when you're retired, what do you want? Sustainability, consistency, things like that. And so those are the things that we want to focus on. And we may not get to all these topics today, but let's touch one more. Let's talk about inflation, right?
Sure.
So a year ago, it was about 1%. Now it's what? 10, 12, 15? We don't.
Who knows?
Well,
it goes up. It changes so fast. It keeps going up.
And that's not a joke. Right now, the problem is you can't get any accuracy in any reporting. We don't know what inflation is right now. All I know is it's escalating. It's out of control. And what it's doing, it's not affecting the working class as much as it's affecting retirees. People that are on a fixed income are really feeling the pinch right now because they have no other way to increase income to offset inflation. This goofy thing with Social Security that happened is crazy. We got what? All the seniors got a 6% raise? The Medicare went up, what, 14%?
Is that right? I'm not on that yet, so I wasn't tracking it.
Yeah.
But
So once again, the government thinks we're all a bunch of morons.
Yeah.
Right? So here, we're going to give you 6%. Yay! Oh, we're going to raise your expenses by 14% on Medicare. Oh,
Right.
Really? So where'd that Social Security increase go? Right back into their pockets.
Yeah.
So it's all a bunch of BS. And so when you're dealing with politicians, that's the thing to remember. Anything that comes out of their mouth is not accurate, especially in today's environment.
Well, anytime you you look at there's just this shell game with this whole minimum wage thing.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
So you raise minimum wage, you raise costs. You raise costs, you raise prices. So it's a zero-sum game for the citizen because, yeah, you're making more money, but everything that you have to buy costs at least the same amount of increase as what you got in your paycheck.
Right.
I mean, it's like the
absolutely.
doors are connected by a chain, and they're going to affect each other. There's only one entity in play that actually makes more money when the minimum wage goes up. Who's that? It's the government, because the government's paid on a percentage of your wages.
Right.
And so when the wages go up, the government gets more money.
Right.
But everybody else loses ground.
Right.
It's just a huge shell game.
See, I'm a little weird. Do you know I really don't think there should be a minimum wage?
I agree.
I think everybody should be paid on merit.
It should be a zero minimum wage. You should get paid what two people
I don't
agree
know.
that the job is worth.
Maybe that'd stimulate a little conversation. What do you think minimum wage should be? And explain your position as to why you think it should be that way. Personally, I think being paid on merit's a good thing.
Well, people confuse dollars with purchasing power, and I think that's the big disconnect here is $15 an hour sounds great until a cheeseburger costs $30. So it's not about the dollars; it's about how much ability do you have to purchase, and that the dollar is therefore that's a moving target when you start playing games with minimum wage.
Right. You know, I used to keep receipts when I'd go out to eat. I was so depressed, I'd have to, I was just distraught. So I quit keeping receipts.
Yeah.
When you go have a meal with their wife and just a quick meal, nothing fancy. I just want to grab maybe, some steamed broccoli,
Sure.
a salmon,
Yeah.
and a salad.
Right.
All right. And she gets the same thing. And we get a couple of drinks.
Right.
So the meals weren't that bad.
Right.
About $10-11 a piece. The drinks,
Yes.
$5.50 for 2 drinks.
Wow.
So if you want to save money in 2022,
Drink water.
Stop drinking anything when you go out to eat. Just drink water.
Yeah.
Drink water, go home, pick up something on the way home. If you got to have a soda and you'll save money. Here's another tip for 22. When you go to a restaurant and you're taking the wife out, everybody whips out that credit card and pays for dinner because it's easier than carrying cash, right?
Right.
Tip with your cash. Don't put a tip on your credit card, and that will save people thousands of dollars
Oh, yeah. Sure
in
will.
additional expenses, because what you're doing when you're tipping on your credit card, it's okay if you're paying it off every month.
Right.
But if you're not, you're paying interest on the tip that
That's
you
right.
gave away
Yeah.
that you weren't even obligated to, and you could have pulled out a few bucks and paid for your tip out of pocket.
I'll tell you, my friend Shauna Kaiser at Nourished loves your advice to drink water, because she's always telling me to be drinking more water when I go over there and have her get me an infusion. So
you should drink twice your body weight in ounces every day.
Oh, boy.
Isn't that what it is?
I don't know.
It's some formula like that.
I don't know.
That's kind of crazy. So, but drink more water. I think everybody should, because we're all dehydrated.
It's healthy, and it'll save you some money.
So we'll dive into some more of this next week, but thanks for watching.
Yeah, one last thing. We've got some seminars coming back up. We took a month off.
We did.
And so I think we've got one coming next week.
Yeah, I think we have 4 scheduled for January.
Okay.
And so call the office, 882-1800. Talk to Gina, talk to Wendy. They'll get you set up with the workshops. We have 2 during the day and 2 in the evening this week, right?
Next week.
Yeah, starting next week.
Starting next week.
Yep.
So we'll be happy to see you there.
All right.
Thanks for
sounds
watching,
good.
everybody.
Investment advisory services offered only by duly registered individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC. AE Wealth Management and the Resource Center, Inc. are not affiliated companies. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. Any references to protection, safety, or lifetime income generally refer to fixed insurance products, never securities or investments. Insurance guarantees are backed by the financial strength and claims-paying abilities of the issuing carrier. This podcast is intended for informational purposes only. It is not intended to be used as the sole basis for financial decisions, nor should it be construed as advice designed to meet a particular need of an individual situation. The Resource Center, Inc. is not permitted to offer, and no statement made during this podcast shall constitute tax or legal advice. Our firm is not affiliated with or endorsed by the U.S. government or any governmental agency. The information and opinions contained herein, provided by third parties, have been obtained from sources believed to be reliable, but accuracy and completeness cannot be guaranteed by the Resource Center, Inc. This podcast is a paid placement.